so exciting. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first look at Crimson Vow, the new set from Magic: The Gathering. Now, I'm a little new to Magic, but this is definitely the set that I'm the most excited about. So I got this save the date from Olivia, which suggests to me that there is a wedding in the near future.
Did someone say wedding?
Oh my goodness, look who it is! Becca Scott. So yes, the centerpiece of Crimson Vow is this huge, extravagant vampire wedding.
And of course you got invited because you're one of my all-time favorite vampires.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so funny.
Yeah, well, do you think that maybe you could bring me, like, as your +1?
Oh.
I mean, unless it's kind of a drag to have a human as your wing woman.
No, well, that didn't matter because it was just a role that I played. I'm not really a vampire.
Oh, say no more. I get it. You can't say while they're watching. Your secret's safe with me. Just...
How did you swallow it after you... You know what? Doesn't matter. We're getting way off track here. So as I was saying, we are going to learn all about the vampire wedding of the century from all of the creators at Wizards of the Coast who helped make the big day possible. So join us. You ready, co-host?
Yeah, a human co-host. Oh, sorry. Is that weird? I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
Wait, have you heard from Jimmy? I haven't heard from him in a while.
Oh, you know, I heard he got eaten by a werewolf.
Oh.
So, as I was saying, we have some special guests with us to help us prepare for the big day. Just like Taylor Ingverson, Senior Art Director.
Thanks so much for joining us here. It's so exciting.
Yeah, thanks so much for inviting us in, because some of us might not have been able to get through the door without that.
I think what Becca is trying to say is that we're so excited to be here as well. Now, Taylor, you led the art direction on the last set, Midnight Hunt. So get us caught up. Where did we leave things in Innistrad at the end of Midnight Hunt, and how does that bring us into Crimson Vow?
For the background of what's going on, there's a lot. So at the end of Midnight Hunt, there was a disaster at the Harvesttide Festival. So it was set up to do this ultimate ritual to fix the day-night cycle put on by Catilda and her coven of Downheart witches. But it was foiled by a vicious pack of werewolves led by Tovalar. But it's okay, He got taken care of, which is sweet. But if that wasn't enough, Olivia swooped in at the very end, pushed Catilda aside, and stole the Moon Silver Key, which was a vital part of the ritual to fix the day-night cycle.
All while wedding planning.
I know, how do you manage that? Very true. Well, so then with the ritual unfinished, what does that mean for Innistrad?
Right, so that just means that the entire plane is now set into a realm of perpetual darkness, which is extra bad if you're a human, but kind of fun if you're a monster, because now it's party time. So, but just because it's super dark doesn't mean that it can't look pretty, just like these new dual bands.
Ooh, oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we're rounding up the cycle we started back in Midnight Hunt.
Right.
And just like those lands from Midnight Hunt, these will also be getting the borderless treatment.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
I wouldn't mind attending a Deathcap Glade. It sounds unpleasant, but it looks lovely.
No, it's so beautiful and atmospheric. Right. So then with the werewolves scattered around and the humans struggling, it sounds like the perfect opportunity, as you said, for vampires to just swoop in and take over.
So it's actually funny that you bring that up because that's exactly what's going on. Olivia is taking full advantage of this situation, and throughout Crimson Vow, the story actually opens up with bats fluttering all over the plane, delivering awesome-looking invitations to the event of the age, Olivia Voldaren's wedding.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Yes, I mean, it is a special occasion when you're immortal.
Look how happy they are.
So there will be vampires traveling from all across the plane to attend this event. The Voldarens, the Markovs, the Falcon Wraths, and the Stromkirks showing up for this.
Well, now, you said that it's Olivia's wedding, but I don't think you actually mentioned who she is that she's marrying.
Oh, yeah. So the lucky guy is none other than Edgar Markov himself. So it's really, really exciting for him. He's the progenitor of all vampires on Innistrad, and he's also the grandfather of Sorin Markov, our planeswalker vampire.
Goodness, what a catch.
Interesting, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if I would have agreed with Olivia's choice. I'd maybe go for Sorin, but if she's into granddads, that's her choice, yeah. Tell us more about Edgar.
So Edgar Markov is the progenitor of all vampires, like I mentioned before, and way long ago, he was trying to get rid of this famine that was running through Innistrad. So he turned to sort of the dark rituals, and he himself, through dark magic, became the first vampire on Innistrad, and also turned some others, which became the progenitors for all of the bloodlines of vampires on Innistrad.
Okay, so Olivia heads up the Voldarens, and if she marries Edgar, then she's gonna be the head of 2 major vampire families within the plane. I mean, that kind of makes her the de facto queen of all of Innistrad. Pretty cool.
Becca, are you trying to say that she has an ulterior motive here? I mean, like, the heart wants what the heart wants.
I would never imply that a vampire's playing politics, no.
But you're absolutely right. It's 100% what she's doing. It's a huge power play. And if she pulls this off, she will be the most powerful vampire on the entire plane.
Wow.
So how she goes about it is that Edgar has been sort of away in this long slumber, locked in his coffin, and he's a little bit weak. His powers have sort of waned. So Olivia walks in, wakes him up, gives him a little blood, and pops the question.
If only it were that easy for all of us, you know? Yeah.
Then she begins preparations for the big day. And since it's her big day, thought it would be appropriate if we took a peek at her card next. Olivia, Crimson Bride.
Oh my God. Well, she doesn't do anything halfway, does she? Oh my, what is going on with her veil? Are those like...
Yes, those are actual spirits that are clinging to each other and to her, forming the train of her dress.
No.
So cool. And absolutely, like you said, she does nothing halfway. So
super extra.
Right. So this is the opportunity for her to show everyone on the plane that she is now the most powerful, the most dangerous, and the most beautiful vampire on Innistrad.
Dangerous is right. I mean, you keep enough big name vampires around, and anything she pulls out of the graveyard is gonna be sticking around for a while.
So Taylor, you've introduced us to the bride, you've introduced us to the groom. What else can you tell us about the festivities? Like, is there anything about the venue we should know?
Yeah, absolutely. So this big event will be held at the Voldaren estate, which is a massive and opulent mansion up in the deep mountains of Stensia, which, if you've been on Innistrad, is also just impossible to get to. There's winding trails and caverns. You can just fall off just trying to get there. So it was an incredible set piece to work on for this set. So like we've mentioned before, in Midnight Hunt, we wanted to bring sort of like a warmer vibe to the festival for humans. In Crimson Vow, for the set piece of the Voldaren estate, we wanted a colder sort of place for party for monsters. So let's take a look at the card Voldaren estate.
Oh my God, the silhouette is so beautiful. Blood tokens.
Token artifact blood. Pay 1 generic mana, tap, discard a card, and sacrifice this artifact to draw a card.
That seems appropriately on theme.
Yeah, nice little hors d'oeuvre, right? I mean, definitely not fit for consumption for humans like us.
So earlier you brought up Sorin, Edgar's grandson. So how does he play into all of this?
Sorin is sort of the black sheep of the vampires, and he's kind of got them all grumpy because long ago he created Avacyn, who defended the humans against his own kind. And this is sort of another way that Olivia's kind of just looming that grudge over Sorin. So you can even see in her dress when you look at it, she's even walking around with one of his and the Markov's gems built into her dress. So it's almost like she's already walking around with the family heirlooms.
Ouch.
So as for how Sorin's taking this, I think we could just take a peek at his card for how he's feeling about it. And that is Sorin the Mirthless.
Yeah, Sorin the Mirthless. Yeah, that about answers that. I guess he is not there for a good time.
I mean, at least he's dressed for the occasion, though, because I gotta say, I'm a big fan of how he's rocking this ruffle thing.
Right, yeah. Usually he's dressed a bit more for battle, ready for a fight, and this time he's kind of intentionally dressing down for the occasion a little bit. He's there, but that's about it.
So earlier you mentioned that this is invite only, security's very tight. So is there a reason for that? Is Olivia expecting party crashers?
So security is super tight, so tight in fact that they put up a ward over the entire Voldaren estate. So if you don't have an invite and you come in, you might foof. But I mean, you don't get to where Olivia is without generating a few enemies along the way. And one of those characters that might be coming to crash the party is Arlen Cord. And so we know she was in Midnight Hunt as our werewolf planeswalker, and she already called Teferi the Time Mage during Midnight Hunt to Innistrad to help out with the day-night cycle. But now she needs a little bit more help, a little bit more fists on, so she's calling on other planeswalkers like Kaya here.
Oh, yeah. She's got like that whole Van Helsing thing going on. I love it.
Bringing in the purple to break out this red.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Exactly, and her specialty is fighting ghosts and undead. So on Innistrad, you absolutely want Kaya in your corner.
Wow. So who else is on the team? Who else is Arlen bringing in?
Yeah, so we're also bringing in our favorite pyromancer, Chandra. Gotta have Chandra. So she's gonna look great for the ball, showing up there in that dress.
I love Chandra. Yeah, what else is she bringing to the party besides these like cool flame accents? I
know.
love it.
Look at that.
Absolutely. So if you know anything about Chandra, she's a lot more sort of speak now rather than forever hold your peace. So I think she'll find herself pretty busy at this event. But there's also too, like, even though sort of looking away from the event at the moment, it does not mean that humanity is not without its defenders. So we've got Thalia to look at. So why don't we take a peek at Thalia's card?
Ooh, creepy.
So, and just like in Midnight Hunt, this will also come in an Eternal Night frame.
Ooh, yes, the black and white. The mood is set. This is a reprint, right?
Yeah, absolutely, but with some new spicy artwork.
I mean, I really love this. I love how you can't actually see the zombies, but they're in the window behind her or down in these shadows.
That's
so cool.
So that's a nod back to things didn't go so well for her hometown of Thraben in the last time we were at Innistrad. So we wanted to really show that she's still running through the halls of Thraben, fighting the good fight and cleaning up the streets of all sorts of nasty ghouls and zombies.
Well, Taylor, thank you so much for catching us up. It sounds like even with these surprise guests you mentioned, Olivia's got things pretty under control. This wedding's gonna be all smooth sailing, right?
Absolutely, and I think if you want more, you're gonna have to stay tuned for the Crimson Vow web fiction coming soon.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Taylor. If you don't mind, we're going to go and learn a little bit more about the cards themselves.
Absolutely, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Taylor.
Bye.
Hi.
Hi.
And here we have Lauren Bond, one of the creative producers for Crimson Vow. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Deborah. Hi, Becca.
Hi, I'm her human +1. Her +1. Sorry.
Uh-huh. Right.
So, Lauren, we have learned a lot about the event itself, the venue, the guest list. Is there anything that you can tell us about the cards once we start ripping open those packs?
Well, if you've already seen Voldaren Estate, then you've had your first look at blood tokens. But let's look at something else that you can do with blood tokens besides just refreshing your hand with Voldaren Bloodcaster.
Whenever you create a blood token, if you control 5 or more blood tokens, Voldaren Bloodcaster transforms into Bloodbat Summoner.
Okay, so I get it. So on top of using the blood tokens for their own effect, we'll also be seeing cards that use them in other ways too.
Yeah, and even on their own, blood tokens can do double duty because they draw you a card, but they can
Okay.
also put stuff in the graveyard, which in Innistrad is always a good thing, right?
Exactly, like the Disturb mechanic from Midnight Hunt, which I'm happy to say is going to be coming back in Crimson Vow.
Cool.
You can check that out here on Dorothea, Vengeful Victim.
Dorothea, Vengeful Victim, transforms into Dorothea's Retribution. Ooh, okay, an enchantment with Disturb is a new one to me.
Since Disturb shows up on spirits, we realized there was more ways we could have them show up returning to haunt the battlefield that get a little bit more abstract and out there than just coming back as a creature. So the vampires may be taking center stage in this set, but we wanted to show the other monsters and creatures on Innistrad getting in on the action.
Okay, so we've still got lots of werewolves and zombies wreaking havoc.
We definitely do. I don't have a werewolf to show you today, but they are coming back for Crimson Vow, and they will be using that same day-bound, night-bound mechanic, just like we saw in Midnight Hunt. So if you're looking to fill out your werewolf commander deck, you're gonna be in good shape. As for the zombies, they are coming back with a little bit of an older mechanic called Exploit, which you can see here on Overcharged Amalgam.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's a big charge on that boy.
Gosh.
We first saw Exploit back in the set Dragons of Tarkir. It lets you sacrifice a creature when this creature enters the battlefield to gain some additional benefits.
Very cool. Okay, so you've got some creatures sitting around, maybe not pulling their weight. You can flash this zombie horror in, and then you get the bonus of an additional counter. That's pretty awesome.
Exactly. And talking about cutting dead weight, that brings us to Cleave, which is a new mechanic that we'll be seeing on instants and sorceries in Crimson Vow, like this one here, Dig Up.
Cleave. You may cast this spell for its cleave cost. If you do, remove the words in square brackets.
Wow, so I'm new and I haven't actually seen anything like this before. So I think I get this. If I spend the cleave cost, then I read everything except the words in brackets. So that is search your library for a card, any card, and put it in your hand, then shuffle.
That's right.
It's crazy how you can just take out a couple words and completely change the meaning of the card. That gives it so much versatility. I mean, it's almost like a second card within the card.
Huh. Okay, so we've covered monsters. What about the humans? What are they up to in the set?
Well, after how badly things went for them for the Harvesttide Festival, they're kind of looking for some ways to build themselves back up, which you can see in the training mechanic here on Savior of Allenbach.
Training. Whenever this creature attacks with another creature with greater power, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So when they're in training, they're attacking with a stronger, maybe more experienced creature. And it looks like they do a little on-the-job learning and sometimes get an extra bonus for that.
Right, so on top of getting that +1/+1 counters from the training, you'll also see some creatures like Savior of Allenbach that have a trigger whenever they train.
And Exile is pretty powerful in this set.
Wow. Okay, so we've looked at the set's mechanics. What about visuals? I mean, Olivia seems like the type who's pretty particular about her wardrobe, so what are we expecting from Crimson Vow's legendary vampires?
We really wanted the vampires to take center stage here, so they're getting our new Showcase Fang treatment. We can see how that looks on Olivia, Crimson Bride.
I mean, she looks fantastic, if I may say. How did that all come together?
This time around, we didn't really aim for like a particular art style, so much as trying to execute on the coolest possible version of vampires, and that led us to a lot of curved and pointed shapes inspired by fangs, bat wings, gothic architecture.
Okay, I know it's Olivia's big day, but are there any other A-list vampires that got this fang treatment?
Absolutely. Here, let's take a look at Sorin the Mirthless. So one of the amazing things about the showcase treatments is it lets us step a little bit outside of our usual magic style. And on that note, Sorin might look a little bit familiar to some video game fans out there. The artist is Ayami Kojima, who is bringing her unique visual style to magic for the first time.
That is a huge get.
Like I said, we knew we wanted to do the coolest, most aesthetically pleasing version of vampires.
I don't want to force anyone to tear their eyes away from this breathtaking, aesthetically pleasing vampire art, but Lauren, I understand that maybe you brought some commander previews with you?
Yes, Crimson Vow will have 2 commander decks. One that is going to be focused on vampires, which you probably guessed, and another that's focused on spirits. They are headed up by Streffen, Mar Progenitor, and Millicent, Restless Revenant.
That cost reduction ability on Millicent means that once you've got enough spirits, she's never going to be staying in the command zone for very long.
And it looks like Streffen's got yet another way to use the blood tokens.
Look, you don't have to sell me on blood. I'm sure it's a very versatile ingredient.
Is there something
Nope, it's nothing really. Is there anything else, Lauren?
Yes, well, you'll be able to find commander-focused cards in the set and collector boosters as well, like this card, Wedding Ring.
Nah, that seems like a card that's built for multiplayer if ever I saw one. I mean, for richer or for poorer, if you're top decking or you're gaining life. Yeah, it seems like Olivia's got the right idea. I mean, that's gonna make some interesting political plays.
Thank you so much, Lauren. This all looks incredible. So Becca and I need to get inside in time for the big ceremony. Shall we all head back to Taylor so you can see us off?
Of course.
Let's do it.
Well, everyone, it sounds like our preparations for the wedding of the century are almost complete. Are you excited, Becca?
Yeah, how could I not be, Deb? I mean, there's so many fun creative flourishes that really give this that classic horror vibe.
Well, if you're a fan of classic horror, we've got 2 last things to show you that I think you'll be pretty excited about. First off, where would the vampire set be without the progenitor of every pop culture vampire, Count Dracula himself?
No! Oh my God, what a unique take. I love it.
So for these, we went back and drew from the literary Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Even the flavor text is pulled from his original novel. And since we're pulling from the novel, it was a really fun challenge to sort of stay true to those characters written in the descriptions, but bring our own flair to sort of bring them to life or unlife.
We specifically chose artists that we knew had done great work on vampires or kind of similar concepts in the past, and they really all came through for us. Each card is full art and borderless, and we didn't just limit ourselves to well-known iconic characters. You'll find lots of classic props and set pieces that the book established as part of the kind of bigger vampire lore. We wanted these to be exciting not just for Magic players, but for fans of the rich history of vampires and the surrounding fiction.
So draft, set, and collector booster boxes all come with a foil Dracula series box topper. And if you buy a box at select local game stores, you'll be able to get Castle Dracula as a buy a box promo.
I mean, what a great way to pay homage to one of the stories that inspired Innistrad in the first place, right? And I'm sure you're going to do right by all the horror fans as well.
Do our best.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you said 2 surprises?
That's right.
Yes, we still need to tell you a little bit about Double Feature.
Ooh, yes. So Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow share a special relationship. So to commemorate that, we wanted to hit everyone with a double feature, which is basically taking cards from each Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow and monster meshing them together into one single unique draftable set.
Oh, that's really cool. So when you draft Double Feature, you're gonna have a chance to play with those synergies and combos that you wouldn't have with one alone. Like, I'm thinking you could use zombies with Decayed to maybe turn on your exploit cards.
The other thing you'll notice pretty quickly is that the cards have been given a special high contrast treatment. So each card has been individually adjusted to look great in black and white, and our usual rainbow foil has been swapped out for what we call silver screen foils for a more cinematic monochrome effect.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, that black and white, it just pops out of the frames. It's beautiful.
Double Feature is also the only place that you'll find this card treatment. So if you're looking to pick them up, you'll want to keep an eye out for when they hit shelves in January of 2022.
Well, everyone, it looks like they've pulled out all the stops to make this a vampire wedding to remember. So previews for Innistrad Crimson Vow are starting now. Be sure to follow along.
That's right. And you can check out the release on Arena and Magic Online. That's going to be on 11/11. Pre-releases are going to be 11/12 to 11/18. And then you can find your physical release on 11/19. And you might want to keep your eyes peeled for a special Crimson Vow trailer, also dropping on the 11th. That's the same day as the Arena and Magic Online releases.
Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Hey, wait, what do you want to do tonight? Because I was thinking maybe we could stay up all night and then we could just make sure we're inside when the sun comes up.
Becca, for the last time, I'm not a vampire.
Okay, I'll drop it.
Sorry.